everyone, welcome to today's video. It's my Sephora recommendations. I can't even believe it, we're already at this point. It's the spring sale. It's just days away. It's gonna kick off very soon for Rouge members and then the following tiers as well. I'm gonna put all the information for the sale in the description box along with the code. This is the look that I ended up with using my products today, and the overall result is beautiful. It's fresh, it's light, it's just easy, it's everyday, it's that casual vibe. You cannot go wrong with any of these products. I'm going to share with you every single product that I'm wearing right now. I'm also going to plug in some additional recommendations in those same categories as we go through the video. Everything will be linked as always down below. So if you want to see my recommendations and what I think is actually worth trying and what you should put on your list for a future Sephora trip, then just continue watching. I'm going to start by applying the products and kind of talk you through why I love these products and why I think the recommendations as I'm applying them. So we're going to start off with foundation. I do have some brow gel just kind of hanging out on the brows to do my latest brow technique that honestly blew my mind when I tried it, and I've been doing it ever since. So right now through the brows, I have the Maybelline Super Lock Brow Gel. Kind of combed them up, laid them flat, got that lamination look going, and it still feels a little wet. So we're gonna just kind of let that hang out and we'll come back to the brows in a little while. So let's do the foundation. So the foundation, one of my picks is the Impeccable Foundation from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is just beautiful. The packaging, frosted glass bottle, beautiful cap with the logo on the top. Look at that, so pretty. I have the shade 1N, and this is a little dark. That's the one thing that I'll say that is somewhat of a negative, is that it does run a little dark. So that's that 1N shade. So I probably could have used a shade lighter. I think there's only one shade before this one. But either way, what I love about this foundation is how it looks like a filter. It looks smooth, it looks blurred. It wears really well, and when my oils start to produce through the T-zone, it just looks fresh and dewy. It doesn't look heavy, oily. It doesn't start to separate. It's a really beautiful foundation. I did a first impressions on this foundation when it first launched, and I literally was blown away. And I still get that same feeling every time I sit down to do my makeup and I use this foundation. It is stunning, absolutely beautiful. And I will show you. I'm going to do half of my face with a BK Beauty 106. This is a must-have brush for foundation. I have been loving using brushes for foundation. I used to just use sponges that have been dampened, but this brush is amazing. So this is the side with the foundation applied, and then this is the side with nothing on. And you can just see how everything looks smooth, it looks blurred, it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't feel heavy, and when you look up close, it just looks, like I said, a filter just on the skin, and it's beautiful. I love it. The other foundation that I wanted to plug in is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This is something I'm going to be reaching for a lot in the more warm months. So now that we're in spring and of course summer's coming around, this is a foundation that wears incredibly well. It looks beautiful. It actually looks like skin. People probably think double wear, stay in place, long wear, that it's going to be heavy and cakey and mask-like. That's the complete opposite of this. And it took me so long to get onto this double wear train, but I am here. I thought the same thing. It was going to be too heavy, too long wear. It was just going to be just too matte. But it's stunning, absolutely beautiful. And I have to plug this in because this is a go-to of mine when it's really warm outside or starting the temperatures change, get a little bit warm, we're outside more often. That is gonna be a go-to. Speaking of Estee Lauder, I just saw that the new Double Wear Concealer that I am truly loving and obsessed with, using it every day, is listed as coming soon on the Sephora app. So hopefully by the time this sale kicks off, this is going to be available for purchase. If it's not, add it to your favorites and get it when it becomes available, because it is, I'm telling you, this is some of the best concealers that I have ever used. I have the shade 1N, and I'm going to use a little bit on the outer part of my eye and then the majority of it right in through here. This is a little bit light compared to the foundation, so it's going to help balance things out since that foundation is a little dark. But I'm going to blend this in really quick with a damp beauty sponge. It works well with a brush. I use a lot of BK Beauty brushes, and they work beautifully with this foundation and concealer combo. So just kind of throwing some other recommendations for tools. I will link some of those down below as well. Never looks heavy, has the perfect amount of coverage. It covers everything that I need to cover. If you have darkness that you want to use a corrector first, put that on and then this concealer, your under eyes will be absolutely flawless. I just adore this formula. Going in with some Pat McGrath. This is the Under Eye Blurring Setting Powder. Need I say more? I hit pan on it. I also have the light pink that was added, I think a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. She came out with a light baby pink. But this light shade that looks white is the one that I've been reaching for the most, obviously. It is a very finely milled powder. It looks, again, like a filter. So this with the foundation and the concealer, those three together, it's like the perfect trio. I use the Sephora collection puff. I need to get another one of these, actually. I like the size of it, and I like the material. It's a really nice one, and I think it's like $5, maybe $8 at the most. So what I do is I pick up this powder with this actual puff. Whoa, get some powder everywhere. And then I just kind of press right over my concealer. And I also bring it down right here where I have larger pores, because this is going to smooth the look of those pores. With that foundation, I did bring my concealer down just a little bit, again, to help balance out the tone of my foundation. But that is flawless. I have no complaints. This is an absolute must, this powder. And even though it says under eye, I do use it through the T-zone and right in through here. I don't use it all over my face. You could if you love the way it looks. Well, why not? I mean, nothing bad is gonna happen, I don't think. But I like to use just a little bit through the T-zone, right in the center of the forehead, take a little bit more and just go right here. I want to work on my brows. I'm going to do the majority of it off camera, so I wanted to show you the brow pencil that I've been using a lot, almost every single day, and it's the Brow Wiz from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This brand is a classic. It's an OG for brows. That's what they started off with, and that's what they're most known for. Any brow product from this brand is always a 10 out of 10. The pomades, the brow gels, the clear one, the tinted versions, anything that you try, they're great. So if you're looking for a recommendation for a good brow product, check out this brand, and I will link my favorites down below. But I think I'm going to use the shade Dark Brown today to kind of go with my hair that I recently dyed, or like a dark red. So I think that this shade is going to work out. And what I like to do now that the gel has set, I just like to do either a line or just pretend that I did the line and I just start flicking up. I kind of do a few different variations of this, but I just kind of fill in exactly where I need, and then I bring in a brow pen. So I'm going to continue doing this, and then I'm going to get on with the next recommendations. So brows are done. I wanted to throw in some extra concealer and powder recommendations. Obviously, I can't use everything that I love and would recommend, because then I'd be wearing 10 pounds of makeup, literally. So some concealers to consider if you're looking for a new one to shop. The first one I'm going to start with is the Creaseless Creamy Concealer from Tarte. This one actually has really nice coverage. This one out of all of them is the most hydrating. So if you have very dry under eyes, you may actually like this. It's very thin, but it has a nice coverage and it blends really nicely. And it doesn't feel too heavy, and it also doesn't feel too hydrating, at least on me, where I can't set this with a powder, because I've had that happen where I use a very emollient concealer and really no matter how much powder I put on, it never sets and it creases. Not with this one. I love the Anastasia Beverly Hills Magic Touch Concealer. I'm almost out of mine. Like, I literally have to scrape the inside of it to even get product to come out. The shade that I have is 3, but I also can use shade number 2. This is great full coverage. Again, it's a beautiful formula, and I've used this with the Impeccable Foundation, and the two together are really, really nice. Next up is that infamous High Glam Concealer from Natasha Denona. This has been in my favorites plenty of times, also in past recommendation videos. I love this. This is a really great concealer. The shade that I have is P1 with a little bit of a peachy tone. Again, all of these are going to give you really nice coverage, medium to full coverage, without looking heavy, without feeling like you put too much product on. And they all blend beautifully and play well with other foundations and all the powders that I used. And the last one is the Clinique Even Better. I adore this concealer. And I also really do like the foundation that goes with it. Again, I've talked about this and that foundation from Clinique plenty of times. I've mentioned it in favorites, previous recommendation videos. I've used it in many tutorials. And I think if you've been watching my videos, you probably already knew that I was going to talk about Clinique. The Even Better is an all-over concealer. It comes with a little smudger. I never really use it. I don't really like those types of tools to blend. I'd rather just use a sponge or a brush. But this actually has a really nice doe foot applicator. The color is beautiful. I use the shade 01 Flax, and it's a warm neutral shade, and I just love the way this looks. I feel like the Estee Lauder Nude Concealer or any of these that I just talked about, you really can't go wrong. So I hope that that helps if you're shopping for a new concealer. So we talked about the Pat McGrath powder, and so I quickly want to plug in my Huda Beauty powder. The Easy Bake, this is a nice powder to do that baking technique, which a lot of us do. You may see that in a lot of videos, but if you just use a very small amount to set your concealer or lightly to set your entire face, it's actually really pretty in that form as well, not just for baking. So don't think Easy Bake means that you have to do that technique with this powder. It can be used for that, and it's beautiful. Flawless, smooth, very finely milled. Again, blurs the skin, blurs the look of your pores, sets your foundation or your concealer really nicely. And I like to use the Powder Puff, as I mentioned earlier. So this is a great one. The shade that I have is Sugar Cookie in the fragrance-free version. And they also did revamp the packaging and the logo. So it's going to look a little different maybe. I think hers is more rounded now, the new one. Still kind of a square, but rounded edges versus what you see here. Time for a little bit of bronzer. I'm going to share with you my most reached for powder bronzer. But before I do that, I want to add a little bit of a cream base to kind of do some layering. I've been doing that lately if I have a little extra time. And I'm actually going to use the cream bronzer stick from Makeup by Mario. This is the shade Light Medium. It's the Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick. I bought this in a little mini set, and it's actually a really nice formula. I'm going to just kind of directly add it to my face, just like so, and I'm going to show you how easily this blends out. I'm going to use my e.l.f. Duo Complexion brush, and I'm just going to start stippling this brush and kind of moving that product. And I like how creamy this is without being too greasy. It has a little bit of moisture, but again, it doesn't look too shiny, and it literally blends itself out in a couple seconds. Like, it's just so incredibly easy to use, and that light medium shade is perfect, even for me with more fair skin. I just think he did a great job with this, and it's not as dewy and emollient as some of his other bronzing products like the Serum, which is great. I recently tried that out. It's one of those products that I bought because I was influenced by social media to try it. His it's like a balm type of product. I forget what it's called, but that one is very, very emollient, kind of greasy feeling on the skin. That one is nice for when you have really dry skin. But out of all of those, the stick is my favorite formula. My most reached for bronzer is also by Makeup by Mario. It's the Soft Sculpt Powder Bronzer in the same shade Light Medium. I just love this formula. I'm using a BK Beauty 111 brush. And I'm just going to lightly go over the cream and set that. I've used this in the same layering technique with the same stick cream bronzer. Other ones that I have in my collection. And I have also used this powder bronzer on its own, and it is absolutely beautiful. Blends, again, like a dream. Super smooth, easy to work with, doesn't look too orange or too yellow. It's not too red. It's just the right depth and the right undertone. He's got several shades to choose from. I have the light medium, and I think it's such a nice bronzer. And like I said, it's my most reached for, so I'm going to share it with you today. The next step is a little bit of blush, and this is where I had a hard time really narrowing it down because I could sit here and talk to you all day about my favorite blushes that are high-end that you can purchase at Sephora. I'm going to kind of condense it down and give you some pointers, some things to think about if you're looking for blushes. I like the formula of the stick blushes from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have a couple shades, and I just like how easy that you can just scribble this on and blend this out. They have a couple different shades. Some are more matte, kind of satiny looking on the skin, not too dry, not too matte. And then there's a few that have a little bit of a sheen to it. I personally like the more satiny finish ones. So the ones that I have is the shade Latte, which is so beautiful. I really like that one. It has like a nice kind of earthy vibe to it. And the other shade is called Peach Caramel. And this one is something that I would use in place of like a blush and bronzer kind of situation because it is a little dark. It's kind of rich, actually. It's really, really pretty. I'll swatch it for you. It's so beautiful. So for fair skin like myself, I can skip bronzer and blush and do two different steps. I can just knock that out with this one. And it blends so beautifully. And this is perfect for that hint of warmth with a little bit of peachiness to it. Feels really satiny and kind of silky on the skin. And it looks really nice, especially in the summer months where you want to kind of get ready and use minimal products to get out the door. Something like this that has a little bit of depth and richness where you can knock out a couple steps in one is great. But I also got to share my love for the Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tint. These are beautiful. The foundation and concealer in the Luminous Silk range is top tier. As well, the powder blushes, don't even get me started. I love those. These are beautiful. It's a liquid formula, so it's different than that formula that I shared from ABH. I love these. Shades 62 and 53 are the ones that I own, and I actually have been mixing these two together, and it's stunning. And I think I might actually do that today. I love that. But then I also love a good powder blush. One that looks like skin, that melts into the skin with the layers underneath, the foundation, concealer, any powders that I put on that looks just fresh. And I gotta say, these ones from Kosas are just doing that. These are the baked blushes. The Blush is Life is actually what it's called. They're a baked formula. This one is called Dreamland. I like the shade Butterflies. Euphoria is one of my go-tos. That's what that one looks like. I also love Bliss. I mean, I love them all. I really do. If you like a good baked blush, this is where it's at. These minis were in a limited edition set, so they're going to look a little bit larger when you purchase them. And they're just beautiful. And I just can't get enough of these formulas. And these are my most reached for high-end blushes. And I'm going to show you, actually, these two mixed. Since I already did my bronzer, I can't do that bronzer blush situation with the ABH. So what I'm going to do is put these on the back of my hand. And again, these are shades 62 and 53 from Armani. So just do a little bit. That is 52, right? No, 62. I always say 52. 62. A really nice rosy mauve. And then this one that's really bright and kind of like a bubblegum is 53. And I will show you that one here as well. Do you see that? Really pretty. It's actually pretty flattering. You would probably think not. That's what I did for the longest time. I would pass by these colors and say, nope, not for me. But until I tried it, this is actually beautiful. So let's just mix them together. And I'll show you the shade that you come up with. Look at how beautiful that is. It's like the perfect, soft kind of pinky shade. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to go back into that duo brush from e.l.f., pick up the product, and then just kind of stipple that right on top of my cheeks. Yep. This is where it's at. Now, I've talked about my love for the Armani beauty brand. It's a luxury brand. It's one of those bougie designer brands that came out with makeup, but they're actually really good formulas. They're not all created equal, and I will say that, but if you have a little bit of extra to spend and you want to treat yourself, and you want a designer brand, something top tier that's really high end and beautiful and elegant, the Armani beauty products are actually really, really nice. They're worth it. They are pigmented, beautiful formulas, easy to work with, and they're just special. So I love it. It's a nice little treat. Why not? Let's throw a little bit of highlight on, and I'm going to go in with one of my latest additions to my collection that truly is absolutely stunning, and you'll see. It's the Luminous Silk Aqua Highlighter, also from Armani. The shade that I have is 3. I thought it was going to be a little dark. Don't be scared if you buy this shade. It looks a little dark, but it's got a nice kind of cool tone vibe to it. And I'll swatch it on this other hand where I don't have anything on it. I'll do a pretty big swatch so you can see that there. Look at that. Just beautiful. It feels very thin, almost water-like, so the Aqua name is very accurate. And I just love it. So what I do is I take my sponge and I just pick up the product on the very tip of the sponge, the same side that I use for my concealer. And then I just lightly tap, and it gives the most ethereal, soft, lit from within type of glow. Now you could definitely take the applicator and swipe on and build up that intensity. So you can play around with this product and kind of do what you feel in the moment, like soft, light, beautiful, yes, ethereal. Barely there, just makes it look healthy, but you can also layer this and be a little bit more extra. And I do have my days where I want to be extra. And is today going to be one of those? Maybe. Maybe. So let's build this up, and I will show you how you can just easily add a little bit more. But it meshes in with the base layers underneath, the foundation, that concealer, the powder. All those layers that I put on, this sort of just kind of meshes right into that, blends beautifully and seamlessly right into my blush. Need I say more? Have I convinced you yet that this is beautiful? It is just dynamite. I love it. So just look at how fresh this looks on the skin. It doesn't look like a highlighter starts and stops, because that tone did seem a little dark when I first took it out of the box. I thought, whoa, this is going to be too much, but it's not. It blends right in, so that base color of it is a little bit more kind of sheer, not as opaque as it looks in the component. So don't be afraid of it. I just can't get enough of it. But if you don't want to buy a liquid highlighter, and let's say you like powder highlighters, I'm going to show you one that I think is absolutely stunning. The packaging drives me nuts, okay? I'm just gonna say it. Makeup Forever, you need to change your packaging because it's not good. The Artist Highlighters from Makeup Forever, this shade specifically is the shade Wherever Pearl. I've used this plenty in tutorials. I've talked about this in favorites. I've even shown this in other recommendations in the past. This highlighter is stunning. It's the perfect cool tone highlighter with a hint of pink. It's icy, but that hint of pink makes it wearable. It blends into your blush tones. I mean, what I dislike about it, like I said, is this packaging. This little flap up top here moves around a lot because what's meant for this is to be opened and removed. So you take this pan out, pop it into a magnetic pan. It's more of like a makeup artist kind of thing in mind. For the everyday consumer, this annoys me, okay? So if you can just get past that, this formula though, just stop. I have so many highlighters in my collection that I love, but this one is beautiful. It's got, like I said, that icy vibe to it with a hint of pink. But when this goes onto the skin, and I use a brush, I actually use a Sephora brush. This is the Pro 98 highlight brush. It's like I want to just dust this all over my face. I don't do that. I don't recommend doing that. But this is stunning. And the color is just right. The packaging, not so much. Just full transparency there. I do not like this packaging, but the product itself keeps me coming back. I'm going to do a quick eye look and show you some of my favorite single one and done type of shadows. And I need a little bit of color in my crease. So I'm going to use my bronzer, the same one, the Makeup by Mario. And I'm going to use a BK Beauty 202 brush for this. So it's a big fluffy crease brush. I'm going to tap off the excess and just do a little bit in the crease to add a little bit of depth and definition to my eyes before we do the eyeshadow. I'm going to take a little bit of that same bronzer right underneath as well. I'm a one and done type of gal when it comes to everyday makeup. I do extras sometimes when I do makeup videos here on YouTube, or if I have extra time on my personal time off camera, I will do looks with palettes, and I will link some of my favorite palettes that you can get at Sephora in the description box. But day to day, I like to do one color and be out the door and get on with my day. So I do something very similar, a little bit of bronzer, whatever bronzer I'm using for the day, go right through the crease, under the eyes as you just saw. And then that's when the single shadows come into place. So my love for these Armani Eye Tints, these are 10 out of 10. This is the best liquid eyeshadow formula that I have ever used. A little bit pricey, but incredibly worth it. I have the shade 9. I have a couple shades actually that I love. The formula is just stunning. Let me just show you this one. This is my most used shade. Stop, right? Look at the pigmentation, how beautiful that foiled metallic finish is. It has a hint of color. It's not too dark. It's not too light. It's the perfect one and done. The perfect kind of smoky look. Stop. Just add to cart. Trust me on that. Add to cart. The summertime is when I do a lot of stick eyeshadows because they wear so well. This formula specifically though, the Aqua Resist Smoky Shadow Sticks from Makeup Forever, this does not budge. You put this on, it will stay on all day long. I am headed to Disney World this summer with my kids, and I'm taking this with me because I know I'm going to put this on in the morning when I get ready, and when I am back at the resort for a little bit of rest to start all over again the next day, this isn't going to crease on me. This is going to stay on. This color here is number 12 Sunrise. I have to show it to you. Where can I do a swatch? Let's do it here. It's a little bit more of a warmer bronze than this one. This has a little bit, this one's called Cold Copper from Armani. So it's a little bit cooler, but this is that perfect bronze, and that is my go-to shade. You know me, if you've been watching my videos, you know I love a good bronze eyeshadow. It's, I think, the most universal flattering type of shade for all eye colors and all skin tones and undertones, a good bronze, okay? This next one though, the Eyes to Mesmerize Cream Shadows from Charlotte are beautiful. And this one here, I just recently repurchased. It's now called Oyster Pearl, but it used to be called Marie Antoinette. And like I said, my old one was 6 years old. And I have been dying to have this back in my collection. And it is absolutely stunning. I'm going to swatch it for you. And let me show you the swatch. Oh, stop. Oh my gosh. This is kind of whipped, a little bit moussey, a little bit more kind of creamy. These do set down as well, but that is the Oyster Pearl. Look at that. Stunning. The Pillow Talk shade is beautiful as well. I have a couple, actually. that I love from her line. I'm going to link some of my favorites down below, but look at that. I want to use this one today because I am just so happy and excited to have it back. So I'm going to actually use that swatch with my finger, and I'm going to just kind of press this right on to my lids. You have to work quickly with these formulas, any of the ones that I shared, because they do set pretty quickly. So my recommendation is to do one eye at a time and just kind of work a little bit, build it up, get that inner corner taken care of, outer corner, and you're done. It has a little bit of color, a little tint, but it's, like I said, not too dark, not too smoky. It's appropriate for daytime. It's appropriate for nighttime, special events, special occasions. These shades are just everything. I love them. A good go-to pencil for tight lining and also lining your upper lashes is the classic, it's an old school favorite, the Urban Decay 24/7 pencils. They've got every single color under the rainbow that you can possibly think of. Matte finishes, which are the ones that I like. Ones with shimmer, ones with glitter, more metallic finishes. I'm telling you, any color that you need, they've got it. It's a classic. It's an old school favorite for a reason. I'm going to use the shade Demolition, which is a dark brown color. It is a matte formula. I'm going to tight line with this pencil. I also really like their waterline formula as well. It's designed for the waterline specifically. I've also used it as regular liner on my lashes, upper lash line, and it's fine. But it's made to wear in that more delicate area where it sometimes liner doesn't want to grab to that, or it transfers, it moves around. That is a great eyeliner for the waterline. So I'm going to link that one too, in case you're looking for something specific for the waterline. I'm going to take a black eyeliner pencil. This is the Whatever Black eyeliner pencil, the artist color ones from Makeup Forever. And I'm going to take a little bit of this and smudge this really close to the root of my lash just to make it look a little bit thicker. And this formula from Makeup Forever is really, really nice. It's very smooth, creamy, and it glides on. And what I love about it is that it doesn't pull or tug, whether I use it on my upper lash line or I use this to tight line my waterline or my lower waterline. It never pulls or tugs the skin. It is a very kind of smooth, little pressure, very little pressure. I can barely feel the tip of the eyeliner grazing my skin. And do you see how it transfers so well? It's pigmented and smooth. These can be used in multiple different areas. So some of the other shades, of course, maybe not the black. You don't want to put this as your blush, but you could use some of the other shades, the more neutrally shades, as blush. You can use them for lip liners, eyeliners, you name it, you can do it. I love this formula. It's just so easy to just do a little bit right across, and I'm just doing small little dashes almost, and I'm connecting them as I go, and I'm done. Simple and easy. For mascara, I'm going to go with one that gives me big, beautiful lashes, fanned out from inner corner to outer corner. Give me that butterfly effect, but kind of amp it up. Make it look like false lashes, but still keep everything separated and beautifully volumized and lengthened. That's this mascara from Charlotte Tilbury, the Exagger-Eyes Mascara. I know it's a little bit pricey, but let me just tell you, the formula is phenomenal. The brush has a slight curve to it, which is great. Fits the eye shape really nicely. Helps extend the lashes, comb them through, get every single lash coated with mascara. But the component itself is glass. Very elevated, very chic, very, very beautiful. Her packaging is always a 10 out of 10. This is the curve on the brush. Not too overly curved where it feels awkward when you're putting this on or getting the mascara on your lashes. I'm going to link some of my other favorite ones as well. I have a couple clean at Sephora ones like the Tower 28 Make Waves. The Ilia Limitless Mascara is wonderful. So I'm going to link some of my favorites. So the other Pillow Talk mascara from Charlotte is really great too. So I'll link that as well. But I'm going to use this one today. I'm going to do 2 coats on the top and then 1 coat on my bottom lashes. That is just 1 good coat of this mascara. So when I do 2 coats, it will definitely create a longer effect and you will see a difference between 1 coat versus 2. And then here's my eye with nothing on there. A big difference, just 1 layer. Like, this is phenomenal. This formula is great. Another mascara that I want to plug into this video is a tubing formula, so it's quite different than the one from Charlotte Tilbury. The one's from Tarte, the original, and then the XL. So the XL has that kind of yellow golden packaging on the outside, and then the original is the purple. They both honestly perform the same way. I don't really see a major difference, honestly, with either of these. They're pretty much the same. I just feel like they just called the XL to create the same thing, but maybe make some more money off of it. Either one that you choose, the original is my go-to. I actually wore this mascara when I went to give birth to my 4th baby, and this stayed on, and I had my mascara on for over 24 hours. It was a pretty intense time, as childbirth is, and this did not flake, didn't budge. My lashes looked the exact same way when I checked in as it did when I finally got around to taking my first shower after having the baby. So this is always going to be my collection. It's always going to be a recommendation for high-end tubing. So I gotta plug it in. And finally, we get to talk about some lip products. This is the part of the video where I have quite a bit of recommendations. So let's start with lip liners. I've got so many favorites to share with you. I love the Kosas hot liners. The shade that I'm wearing today is the shade called Mega, and this is a really beautiful kind of classic cool tone pink. I've been in my cool tone pink lip era for a while now, and this definitely is one of my go-tos for that. It's creamy, easy to apply, and I use that today to line and also slightly fill in just a little bit the lip line as well. I also really do love the Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat formulas. I have several of the classic most popular shades, bestsellers, and they're really great. Again, creamy, easy to wear, long wear on that. They don't fade or budge as easily as some other more creamy formulas. That one's just a little bit more dry because it hangs on for a bit. And I also love the Lawless lip liners as well. These are called the Forget the Filler Definer Liners. These are really nice, super creamy, creamier than the other two that I just shared. And then of course the Anastasia ones, the classic wooden sharpenable ones. It's just something so nostalgic about a wooden pencil. And I like the square shape because it actually is really easy to hold. The colors are beautiful. The formulas are really, really nice. So I do love those. And then of course, the lip sticks. I've got 2 from Charlotte Tilbury that are my most used lipsticks in my collection, my most reached for. I am using the Pillow Talk Fair today, and this is like a perfect, just everyday pink with a little hint of like a nude vibe to it. It's not too pink. Like the next shade is going to be a little bit more pink, but this is just stunning. And I'm going to swatch it for you. That is the Pillow Talk Fair. So this is the one that I applied today right over the hot liner from Kosas. The other shade is Red Carpet Pink. I have to plug this in every time I do a recommendation as long as this is available for purchase. This is the best cool tone pink, like true cool tone. That's that shade right there. So this is the Red Carpet Pink. Do you see that? It's a cool tone. Here, Pillow Talk Fair just has a hint of warmth, but not too warm. I would say that's a little more kind of neutrally, at least to me it is. But this one, the Red Carpet Pink, is your classic true cool tone shade. Some brands say cool tone, but then they actually pull more warm. Not this one. This is beautiful, and I love her formulas for lipsticks. I topped that combination off, the liner and the lipstick, with the plumping glosses from Lawless, the Forget the Filler. The shade that I wear today, that I have on right now, is Velvet. It's the perfect kind of mauve pink that goes really nicely with those 2 that I shared earlier. But you can't go wrong with this formula. I have several full sizes. I have them also in minis. I love them. The shine, the plumpness, the smoothness of the lines and the lips. You need these. If you haven't tried them, this is a great time to try. And of course, I cannot do this video without sharing with you the Fenty Gloss Bomb Sticks. These are incredible. But wait, it gets better. There's a glitter one now. A glitter finish one that I go bananas for. This is a shade called Fussy, and the shine and the glow of the normal formula and then the glitter ones, just stop. Let me just show you. They're creamy, they're pigmented, they're like butter going onto the lips. These are beautiful. The purple one with the glitter is out of stock. It may come back. I'm hoping that it comes back because I want that purple one. Everyone keeps buying them and they don't leave me one, but I'm gonna get my hands on it eventually, and I will definitely share that with you once I get it. And then for a matte lip, this is a surprise to some of you that have been watching my videos. I don't do matte lips very often, but I will wear this product from ABH. These are the Lip Velvets. The shade Kiss specifically is my go-to. I have worn this with nothing underneath. I have worn this just by itself without putting a topper on top with like a gloss, a balm. So comfortable. It's whipped. It's moussey. This is one of their most popular shades, and I will swatch it for you. It is just absolutely beautiful. The formula is very special, very kind of like a souffle. That's what I think of every time I put this on. Whipped, moussey, airy, light, almost like nothing is even on. It's not that old school long wear formula that's matte, that sucks the life out of your skin and makes you look like shriveled raisins for lips. Like, you're not gonna get that with this. This is great. So those were all of my recommendations. I hope that this style of video, seeing it applied, is helpful for you instead of just me talking about the products. So if you like this type of style for the next sale, I can definitely do that as well. As always, I'm going to link everything down below in the description box. I'm also going to link some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes, even though I didn't use them. There are some really great ones at Sephora that I really do think are worth it. The Natasha Denona brand specifically is a great one to look at if you're in the market for an eyeshadow palette. I'm going to link some of my favorite tools that you can also purchase during the sale, along with everything else that I share with you today, and some more favorites that of course I can't talk about because we'll be here forever. This goes without saying that all the previous favorites videos or recommendations for sale videos, I still love those products. If you go back and watch any of those are still great things to try and to consider if you're in the market for those types of products. So just keep that in mind. Just because I'm sharing with you guys this bunch right now doesn't mean that I don't love those other products that I've talked about in the past. Thanks for being here, for watching. Happy shopping. Let me know what you got. What's on your list? What should I buy? Let's talk about it. I love hearing from you guys. Take care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.